Is Texas defensive tackle Byron Murphy becoming the Bears guy at number 9? Is he a realistic option for Ryan Poles with that second first-round pick? Lots of buzz flying around him. We're going to talk about that. Plus, some new Caleb Williams dinner details emerging from his top 30 visit in Chicago and at Hallis Hall. I think you'll like some of these news and notes that came out of that. So lots of draft discussion as draft week is here. And hey, if you haven't already, you better subscribe now because it's going to be a hell of a week. We're live later this afternoon at 4 o'clock Central as well. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Draft week is here. Go ahead and join us for that. And we appreciate Roan for sponsoring today's show, the Commuter Collection, and much more available at roan.com/chatsports. That's going to get you 20% off. Go check out Roan today, and let's get this episode underway. I'm Harrison Graham. Let's jump right in here. Byron Murphy, he appears to be rising up draft boards and potentially the Bears draft board as well. Adam Schefter with some news and notes suggesting he could be the first defensive player drafted. He says this: it feels as if most mock drafts are predicting edge Dallas Turner will be the first defensive player drafted on Thursday night, and maybe he will be. But there are some front office executives who believe defensive tackle Byron Murphy has a realistic chance of seizing that honor. It's possible a defender might not be picked until Atlanta at number 8 or Chicago at number 9. Murphy could be a consideration for both teams. Murphy, who had 5 sacks last season, is talented, plays a coveted position, and has gotten clean character reports. We haven't talked about Murphy as much recently, but we did a couple of weeks ago, and he's a player I really like. I told you then he could be a play at number 9, and I would not rule that out whatsoever, especially with the chatter we've heard in the past 24 hours. And why is that? Well, Matt Eberflus, for one, has said from the beginning, you need the 3-tech. It's the engine to this defense. And yes, Gervon Dexter's in there, and he did some good things. But even with Dexter and getting Pickens last year, it's not like, A, you have a ton of even just depth at defensive tackle. You've got Billings, Dexter, and Pickens. To me, those are really the only 3 guys that you would be comfortable putting on a field right now. And B, do you really have that true answer at 3-tech yet? How far along is Gervon Dexter? Is he that guy? If they're very confident he is the answer at 3-tech, then you shouldn't draft Byron Murphy at 9. But if there's some concern, but they're still optimistic, A, why not add another impactful defensive lineman? And B, Dexter showed the ability to move around last year, so even if he hits, he can play some nose. He can line up at edge sometimes. Like, he's got that versatility. And worst case scenario, him and Byron Murphy are kind of a thunder and lightning. They do different things well. Dexter with more of the physical, length and traits that the Bears, for example, typically look for. Murphy with better instincts, more quickness, and just, I think, is just a better overall football player. So, again, I think Gervon Dexter is the ultimate wild card in this equation. And if there are some questions there still, I think Byron Murphy is absolutely in play at number 9 and should be. How would you grade the pick of Byron Murphy at number 9 if they were to make it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know down in the comments below. I really like Murphy. In a scenario where the top 3 wide receivers are gone, I would be okay taking Murphy number 9 overall. I think he's the best defensive lineman in this class. Sure, I would prefer to trade down a few spots and still get him, but the guy's a dog, and if it's true that he could be the top defensive player on people's boards, if you really like him and you're the Bears and you want him, you may not be able to get him in a trade down. Like maybe there's a situation like last year with Darnell Wright where they really wanted him and they knew they could move down one spot because the Eagles came up and got Jalen Carter. But other than that, there's no guarantee that he would still be there. You look at his testing scores, excellent. Sure, he's not the tallest and longest guy, just under 33-inch arms, which isn't super short, but he wins with quickness and low center of gravity, which is why he's drawn some Aaron Donald comps. More on him in a little bit, but first, I do want to tell you guys more about our sponsor today. That is Roan, RHONE.com/chatsports. Code chatsports gets you 20% off as they absolutely reinvented the mail closet recently, and the commuter collection from Roan is what they did because they offer the world's best dress shirts, golf polos. They have blazers now, shorts, pants, and a whole lot more. What's awesome about Roan is not only do you look good with their classic look, but you feel good. You feel comfortable. The mobility, if you're traveling a lot for work, is there. And that's with their 4-way stretch fabric. It is absolutely fantastic. Going to be feeling good. It's breathable. A lot of these products, they're stiff. They're heavy shirts. And, as it starts to warm up with summer around the corner, you don't want to be feeling uncomfortable. You get this 4-way stretch fabric. It's very breathable. You're not condensed when you're around. And what's cool about Roan, too, is they get you ready for every situation. You need to look business professional. They got high-end quality. If you want to go out to the golf course, just throw on a golf polo and some of their shorts, more casual, we got that as well. A little happy hour look. It's all available. And my personal favorite part about Roan is, other than getting 20% off at roan.com/chatsports, code chatsports, is the fact that it's machine washable. I used to spend so much money per month by going to the dry cleaners. No more. Machine washable, air dry this. You are good to go. Link is in the comments and in the description. RHONE.com/chatsports. It's Roan. Go upgrade your wardrobe today with Roan's clothing products. Again, on Byron Murphy, and I know I kind of mentioned Aaron Donald there, and I've said it before. Look, no one's Aaron Donald. It's one of the best defensive players of all time. But the comps are there because the play style is similar. The athletic traits are similar. Not the tallest and, fastest guys, but extremely quick, extremely powerful. Uses his low pad level to his advantage to move guys out of the way. Plays with a relentless motor, and if Schefter's reporting of the clean character stuff is true, we know the Bears really value that. They value a comfortable locker room and guys who can fit in. That's why they didn't take Jalen Carter. They weren't comfortable with the red flags around him. Sounds like Byron Murphy doesn't have any, and I thought Jacob Infante, who does good draft work for Windy City Gridiron, made a good point here. He said last year there was a good amount of late buzz around Darnell Wright as someone the Bears like. This year we're seeing the same with Byron Murphy. I don't think it's a coincidence. And it is interesting. Like Jervon Dexter, Byron Murphy has kind of steadily risen here. Darnell Wright. That's a typo there. Assume that says Darnell Wright. I got the guys backwards. No big deal. But like Darnell Wright, early in the draft process last year, was like, okay, this guy's late round 1, early day 2. Then the combine comes. You're like, oh, this team, they really like this guy. He tests well. He's like mid-first round, Senior Bowl, all this stuff. And then you get closer to the draft, and it's like, oh, this guy is a great offensive tackle. He could go top 10, top 15. Bears really like him. They took him number 10 overall. Byron Murphy, same deal. Late round 1, early round 2. There was a time early in the draft process where his teammate Tavondre Sweat was higher on teams' boards. And I think the more people watch and realize and what translates better to the NFL, pass rush standpoint, Murphy's the better player. The character stuff is clean. Great combine, dominant Senior Bowl. You look at the tape and you're like, wow, this guy makes play after play. And all of a sudden, Bears sitting there at 9, they might end up taking this guy. Very similar kind of rise that Darnell Wright took last year. And then you got this as well. Again, this isn't just Schefter, who obviously you listen to what Schefter says. Albert Breer says Byron Murphy very much in play with the number 9 overall pick here. Here's what Breer had to say in more detail. He said a couple of friends of Ryan Poles said they think he'll be looking to add talent around Caleb Williams. It's a good idea. So if one of the top 3 receivers slide to Chicago, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen could get a running mate. If not, maybe an offensive lineman or Texas 3 technique Byron Murphy. The point is sure, it's either absolute top guy at 9. I wouldn't say that's the case. Like if a Dunze falls there for me, I would still take him. Or if Joe Alt falls there, I could see the Bears really wanting to go that route. But I could see them also, as you look at my non-QB big board, they might sit here and say, look, top 3 receivers we love, but if they're all gone, Joe Alt we love, but if he's gone, Byron Murphy, we might rather take our top defensive player over the 2nd or 3rd offensive tackle or over Brock Bowers or something like that. And I do think Byron Murphy's the top defensive player in this draft because I think his tape is rock solid. I think when you factor in the Bears and what makes this defense go, like if he hits at that position, like you're kind of set. You got Sweat on the edge. Your back 7 is excellent. You can kind of piece together that other edge spot and you'll be fine. You've got Billings at the nose. You got Dexter and Pickens rotating in as well. I think Byron Murphy has just huge potential in the NFL, and his quickness and instincts, which, by the way, his instincts, even if Dexter does continue to improve, that's something Dexter doesn't really have right now. Like, Dexter wins with just his dominant physicality, but he doesn't fire off the snap super quick. Byron Murphy does. He doesn't play with great pad level yet. Byron Murphy does. So I kind of like bringing him in here anyway, even if Dexter does continue to improve, because some of those things Murphy already has. Like, you don't have to coach that into him. Like, that's already there. So I think it just gives you a different look at minimum, and at maximum, it's an upgrade at the position, which you need more impactful defensive linemen. So fill in the blank. The Bears will draft blank at number 9 overall. Do you think it'll be Byron Murphy? Do you think it'll be Rome Odunze? Do you think it'll be an offensive lineman? Drop a name down in the comment section right now. All right, let's circle back in time to Caleb Williams' top 30 visit from a couple weeks ago. We had heard at the time that, he met with some players, DJ Moore, Tyreek Stevenson at the dinner. Didn't really know the full context, but Adam Schefter has dropped new details here that I thought were worth sharing. He said this, quote, when Caleb Williams visited Chicago in early April, the Bears did something smart. You always like to hear that. Rather than have Williams go to dinner with their front office and coaches, they sent him to dinner with team leaders Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, TJ Edwards, and others. The thinking was those are some of the team's most respected players, the players whom others listen to, and this group then would be able to tell the other players what they were getting in Williams, who is likely to be the number 1 overall pick. I think we can remove the word likely there, Adam. My reaction is kind of as follows. By the time Caleb Williams came to Chicago for a top 30, the Bears were kind of set by taking him, right? Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, scouts, other coaches, they had done their homework. They had met with him. They had done the film study up. They had checked off on it. And so I think this was smart, to use a word from Adam Schefter. Like, hey, let's bring him into our environment, but we're going to stay away. Hey, go to dinner with DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, guys you're going to be throwing to. Oh, TJ Edwards. I know Tyreek Stevenson was there as well. Young, growing leaders on this team. And just see how the guys fits in. And if the players feel good about it, then boom, that's kind of the final check mark. And it sounds like that's how it went. And depth chart breaking news. I am comfortable over 72 hours from the NFL draft away of putting Caleb Williams on the quarterback depth chart. I know he hasn't technically been drafted yet, but I think we all know that Caleb Williams is a Bear, so I'm comfortable putting him in there 3 days out. If I'm wrong, well, Thursday. He's sorry, Tyson. He's producer Coop in my ear. He's already the starter. Yeah, I think he's going to be the starter. He's a Chicago Bear. It'll be official on Thursday night, and I think the Bears' process and how they've gone about this, getting players involved. To meet with him, interact with him. I really like that as well. I think it's been a sound process from Chicago, which typically has not been the case. But it does feel like things are changing a bit under Ryan Poles. All right, guys, busy show there. Byron Murphy buzz. It's getting real, so stay tuned for that. Also, we'll be live again, like I said, in about 4 hours, so subscribe and join us. Should be a lot of fun. Bear down.